Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another edition of your favorite show, the one, the only Red's View. Of course, I am your gracious host, the one, the only J Red. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. Thank you for everybody that popped out and showed out this past Sunday, the day after the Versus battle. It went down. We had a heavy amount of people, and I'm talking about heavy, heavy. That was the most people that we've had on a broadcast. It was a lot of people up in here, man. We had it from Facebook and YouTube. Shout out to all the new subscribers. If you are new to Red's View, you're going to enjoy yourself here. We do these shows every week. Also, my podcast that I do with CJ, aka Animal Brown, that's Who Gave You a Podcast. We do that every week as well. Well, not every week, but we do that like bi-weekly, once a month type of. This is a weekly show. So I told you, if you subscribe to this channel, you're going to have fun. There's a lot of content that you can watch, a lot of interviews in my catalog, man, that you can go and see. But thank you, everybody, for the last time. We had a real good time talking about some things. We had a lot of had a hater up in here, but we also had a lot of love, man. We had a hater and we had a lot of love, but I had fun with you all last time. And I can't wait to chop it up. I've been coming up with these topics all day, and it's a lot to talk about. We're still feeling the after effect of the verses. We're still feeling the after effect, the afterburn of the verses. So we're gonna still cover that and just a lot of other things. But before I begin this podcast, make sure that you hit that like button for one, and then also make sure you hit the share button. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is going across your screen right now, youtube.com/RedsView. Make sure that you go ahead and do that right now. All right. So first, before also I begin, man, we have to say pray for Young Bleed, the rapper Young Bleed. You know him. He's infamous for his song that he had with Master P called How You Do That There. You know, he had that song, man. But right now he's in the ICU. Young Bleed is in the ICU. Now, there were false reports, and I hate when this happens. There were false reports of Young Bleed um dying. You know what I'm saying? The people were saying that he's dead. Even I looked at it and I was about to share it, but then I shared it and I immediately took it down. I'm like, hold on, wait, it's not from an official site or nothing like that. So I did my due diligence and didn't want to spread out any false allegations, false news, fake news, and I found out that he isn't dead. He's reportedly fighting for his life because Young Bleed, he wasn't signed to No Limit, but he had that song How You Do That How You Do That There from the I'm About It soundtrack, right? But let me show you all. He had a brain aneurysm. From my understanding, Young Bleed, the rapper, is in the ICU now fighting for his life. And he just performed at the Versus battle. That's what's getting everybody. He just performed. He was jumping up like Mario in the Mario game, and we had so much fun seeing him. But yeah, man, he's on life support. Master P made this post. He says, Snoop Dogg and I was just talking about how we have to love each other while we are here. We just turned up with our brother Young Bleed at the Versus. Thanks for all y'all prayers, and we need more prayers for him and his family as he fights in the ICU. God got us. No Limit Soldier. Tell your people you love them every time they walk out the door. So yeah, there were false reports going on, and his sister, they're gonna show what she said. Couldn't find it. His mom had said pretty much stop reporting fake news and all this other stuff, man. But like I said, he had a brain aneurysm from my understanding. So, man, we're sending nothing but love and healing energy towards Young Bleed. It hit me right here because I'm just like, he just literally performed at that versus battle. So it really just hurt my heart to hear that he died, you know what I'm saying? And then to find out that it wasn't true, I was like, okay, well, what happened? And then it just hit me just to see that he's in the ICU. I really want to know what's going on, just concerned. He had a great interview he did on Vlad TV. I think it was like last year, from my understanding. But man, prayers out for Young Bleed and his family. We know he's going to pull through. Shout out to No Limit Soldiers. So speaking of No Limit, let's go ahead and get into it. So on tonight's broadcast, we're going to cover a lot of different topics, but this one in particular, okay? Reasons why Birdman will always come second to Master P. All right. These are the reasons why Birdman will always come second to Master P. Now, why are you talking about this, J Red? Why are you comparing them? Well, because they just had a versus battle. And I've had a video that went viral about my reaction with my people when No Limit won the verses, right? So Birdman, As you saw, he had some stuff to say to Master P. Luckily, Tamar Braxton took away his microphone, and he didn't say what he was going to say to P. But P shut him up and did the about it, and it sealed the deal. It was a wrap from that. We already know that, right? So it made me just go back and just kind of analyze and realize, after having conversations with my people and stuff, you just start to think, okay, why was Birdman so bitter? Why was Birdman so angry? Why was Birdman dissing Turk and all this other stuff, right? You just got to look at things and just, try to analyze it. And what I came up with is that Birdman will always come second to Master P. What I mean by that, I'm talking about second as being that hip hop mogul, entrepreneur, label executive, all that stuff, right? Now, when people hear me say this, you're automatically going to think that I'm talking about just music. We're not talking about music. We know that Birdman is a legend in his own right, for sure. Cash Money is an iconic rap label, just like No Limit is. It's just we found that No Limit hit a little harder this past verses. But with Baby, aka Birdman, I grew up calling him Baby. I don't know what y'all call him, but I still call him Baby from time to time. So with Birdman, he has resentment. I think he has resentment towards Master P for a few reasons. Okay. Um, and this all I feel like is just a little, I'm not even gonna say just full-fledged jealousy, but just envy Master P. He's always like the little bro when it comes to Master P. Yeah, Birdman is, glorious and all he's done. Transitioning from Cash Money with Young Money with NBA Youngboy, Drake, all of Lil Wayne's artists and different things like that. So I'm not comparing music right now. I'm just simply talking about just as a man, as a businessman, and as a CEO. Okay. So the reasons, we're going to go into the reasons why I feel like Birdman always comes second to Master P. So the first thing is, without No Limit, there will be no Cash Money. I mean, that's the first thing. That's obvious, right? P laid the foundation down for not just Cash Money, but for all hip hop record labels. Now, people came before him, his predecessors. Shout out to Jay Prince, Uncle Luke, Easy E, Death Row, all that stuff, right? But P is the reason why rappers get more money now. All right. P is the reason why a lot of rappers became moguls, entrepreneurs, owning their masters, working out the right deals and stuff. Now, not everybody, but a lot of people. But do you think that Birdman and Cash Money, Birdman and Slim, do you think they would have got that $30 million deal with Universal had it not been for the blueprint that Master P gave them and the foundation that Master P gave them with No Limit Records? Seriously, think about that. Both camps are out of New Orleans. Both had phenomenal artists that did phenomenal things. Both sold millions and millions of records. I think P sold like 70 million records, and I want to say Birdman sold like 100 million records or something like that, like a billion streams, all that other stuff, right? I don't know the exact accurate amount, but when you're comparing the two, you always hear about Master P being the mogul entrepreneur and stuff. With Birdman, you kind of limited to just the music, and he's still relevant when it comes to his musical artists. And Master P fizzled out like in the 2000s. But when you think about just what it means for the culture, you're gonna think about Master P when you think about record labels. I first knew what a actual record label was with No Limit Records. You know what I'm saying? So there would be none of that. There would be no Cash Money if, like, just in a world, right? Would Cash Money have been successful? That's a possibility. I mean, they were already successful, beforehand. But would they have gotten the deal that they got? Would they got the notoriety that they had and all this other stuff? No. If you look at what Cash Money did, they pretty much emulated what No Limit was doing. No Limit had the pen and pixel artwork first for their cover art, right? Cash Money did the same thing. I remember seeing the CDs and I'm like, oh, okay, they're using pen and pixel just like No Limit's doing. Now, Cash Money had a different feel than No Limit. They were more polished. No Limit was more gritty and stuff like that. But the blueprint for Cash Money was made by No Limit. Baby would not have had Cash Money to what we know, to Cash Money as we know it. It wouldn't be here without No Limit. And I know Cash Money outlasted No Limit, but P went on to do other things, right? So that's number one. Shout out to Malik Beasley. Jared, I got something to say, brother. What you got to say, Malik? Go ahead and say what you got to say. Um, but yeah, so that's the first reason I feel like, right? Now the second reason why I feel like that is because Master P was the better CEO. Master P was a better CEO than Birdman. All right. And when I say that, think about this. Look at that versus battle. Okay. Look at the No Limit camp versus the Cash Money camp. How many people showed up for the Cash Money camp? You had the big timers and half of the hot boys. With the No Limit soldiers, you had everybody and their mama who could show up, they showed up. The people who were incarcerated, we already know Mystical, C Murder, all that in a bag of chips, right? But those people right there, they're not signed to Master P no more. They haven't been signed to Master P for years. And Master P had a gazillion artists. Not every single person was there, but it looks like every able-bodied person for the most part was there who could be there. But some of them weren't even there, like Sons of Funk, Gambino Family, Ghetto Commission, Prime Suspects. I don't even know. They may have been in the background. I don't know. But Sons of Funk, like Master P, that shows he still has a good foundation and reputation with his artists, his former artists. With Birdman, there's holes in the camp. The biggest star from Cash Money wasn't there with Lil Wayne. Their other guy, Turk, wasn't there. Birdman had to shout him out. You know, he dissed Turk and stuff like that. But I mean, that was really his way of shouting him out. If you from New Orleans and you know how New Orleans people talk, that's how they talk, right? But when you look at that in comparison, doesn't it look like Master P is the better CEO? Also, Master P never R-word his artists. Master P doesn't have a bad reputation with his artists. Have you ever heard of Master P's artists saying that they weren't paid? Master P's artists saying that they were homeless? You know what I'm saying? Master P's artists all just as doped up and all this other stuff. Have you ever heard of that? Now, I think the only people who had issues with Master P monetary wise was Beats by the Pound. They made they had some discrepancies and they ended up leaving No Limit, right? But other than Beats by the Pound, I don't really think you've ever heard anything about that. Every single Cash Money artist, the Cash Money from back in the day, they fell out with Birdman. Juvenile fell out and left Birdman because of money issues. BG fell out with Birdman and left because of money issues. Turk back then, he was the quote unquote weakest link. He even left Cash Money because he had money issues, right? Lil Wayne was trying to leave Birdman and Cash Money because of money issues. The only reason he didn't go is because Birdman had to offer him a president position while he was there. Okay? When you look at the reasons why, it's because of that. Shout out to the people in the chat. So yeah, so that was that. When you look at it, I'm gonna read your comments in a minute. Let me get through this stuff. So yeah, you never heard of Master P mismanaging his artists. It like when things got hectic for him, he told Mystical, "Hey, you're free to go. Mystical is free to go. Mia X free to go." You know what I'm saying? Like P was able to let Snoop go. Snoop said, "I learned from P, and I was able to go do different things." When you look in comparison, Master P's artist Snoop Dogg became a bigger global icon because he learned the game from him. Like Cash Money artists, what did they do outside of music? You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying everybody got to be a big entrepreneur mogul. Lil Wayne did pretty good, but other than that, I mean, you know, Juvie, you know, he ended up coming back and stuff like that. But BG went to jail, Turk went to jail. Now, C Murder did go to jail, Mystical went to jail too. But what I'm saying is, because it's errors on both sides, but for the most part, you don't hear about Master P having a bad reputation with his artists. Now, Mia X and him had some type of discrepancy recently, but that's years later. That was a contractual issue between the promoters and everything, and they fixed that. You know what I'm saying? But you see, Mia X showed up for the verses. Mr. Servon, it was people who weren't even rapping. Boz, Master P's best friend growing up. Mr. Servon, Crazy, who I've interviewed on this show. Mr. Servon, I've interviewed him on this show. They showed up and didn't even have a verse. They were just up there vibing. So that means that you have good energy. They all understood the assignment and they were there as a unit. Lil Wayne is like, I ain't finna show up to that if I ain't got to. He's like, if Turk ain't gonna be there, I ain't gonna be there. So that shows you who the better CEO was. You know what I'm saying? And then you think of just like let's look at what Master P has accomplished from Birdman. Birdman is mainly with music. Now I'm not in the brother's pockets, right? I think he was trying to do oil at some point, but look at what Master P did back then. Master P had I'm Bout It. He did the ghetto street tales on VHSs back then, right? He had those independent movies. Then he had theatrical releases. When he did I Got the Hookup, I went to the movies to see that shit. I went to the movies with my mom. My mama brought me and my brothers. I ain't never gonna forget. That was in theaters. Hot Boys in theaters. Didn't like Silk the Shocker's acting at all, but Hot Boys. You know what I'm saying? Then he played in the NBA. Master P was more than just a music mogul. He was an icon. I can't say Birdman is an icon. Birdman is a big music CEO, but a music executive. But when you're talking about success, Master P had his hands in too many baskets. You know what I'm saying? He played in the damn NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like Master P did so much and did stuff for his artists. Like everybody was getting paid, everybody had a house, he took care of them, everything like that. So when you're looking in comparison, Birdman looks like a little bro, a little brother to Master P. When you're talking about CEO, when I think of CEO, I think of how your employees were treated. And after years afterwards, you think of art, if Master P wasn't a good CEO, you think that Snoop, who I assume would be making more money than Master P at this particular point, you know what I'm saying? You think he would come back with his precious time with all the stuff he has going on to do a versus? He did that one verse because of his love and loyalty. He still does stuff with Master P. And Master P has transitioned outside of music and started doing, selling food products and stuff like that. So that's another reason, right? And then when you think about this, right? The other reason why he comes second to Master P is because Birdman is still bitter. Birdman is still bitter after that meeting, right? Do y'all remember on the No Limit Chronicles? And I never knew it, but do you remember on the No Limit Chronicles when Birdman and P had a meeting? And I think that P was either supposed to help produce Cash Money, buy Cash Money, something like that, but they had a falling out and they never really talked to each other again after that. I think Baby still has a bug in his ass about that, and he's still bitter when it comes to Master P. That's why Master P was at the versus battle doing like a celebration, saying, "Hey, this celebration, Birdman, you started that stun, and all this other stuff." And Birdman's like, "Hey, I did start it, nigga," and it was like a negative reaction. That could have just been them, just being cool with each other. Master P gave Birdman his flowers, and Birdman didn't return the favor and say, "Hey, P, I started the stun stuff, but bro, you laid the foundation. You put the city on. Without you, there would be no me." Right? Only one person up there was bitter, and it wasn't Master P. So Birdman is still holding on to that decline, that denial. You know what I'm saying? When Master P denied him or they couldn't come to an agreement, Birdman is still holding on to that from 1996, 1997, whenever they met up, right? Because Master P was able to see that Cash Money was having a move, a little motion going on. You know what I'm saying? They already had success in the streets. Master P wanted to invest in them, but I guess it was just two big egos, and you see that they clashed while they was on stage. But like I said, there's only one person that was on that versus stage that was bitter, and his name wasn't Master P. So that's another reason why. The next reason why Birdman will always come second to Master P is because Master P has grown more as a man than Birdman has. Master P has grown more as a man than Birdman has. When you look at all the accomplishments, right? Birdman is over here talking about, I started this stunting-ish, right? I taught people how to spend money on depreciating goods. I told people I was stunting with grills in my mouth, which he wasn't the first to do, by the way. I was stunting with grills in my mouth, rims on my car, flossy jewelry, just that bling bling. That's what I influenced. Okay. Shout out to him. Number one stunner. What is that to say for a damn near 60-year-old man to be bragging about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it don't really hold a lot of weight. That's why everybody's like, oh, okay. Like, people are like, okay, so you're the problem. You're the problem. Master P over here talking about it's a celebration of music, it's love. I still got my artists up here. People are still healthy. You got to love who you got, because look at Young Bleed. Young Bleed is in the hospital right now at the ICU. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of growth. Master P is out here coaching. You know what I'm saying? Coaching games, mentoring his sons. Like Birdman, you don't hear nothing about that. Now I'm not saying Birdman don't do for his children. I ain't saying nothing like that. But what I'm saying is, as a growth as a man, Master P. The only reason he came back and say, "Hey man, you started that stun ish," but that's what I was. You know, I started this bout about it stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cash Money's stick back then was, "Hey, we are millionaires, right? Cash Money millionaires versus No Limit what? Soldiers. When you think about soldiers, you think about going to war, you think about battling, and that's what I resonate more as a man back, like from back then to now. You know what I'm saying? Back then, of course, you know, you wanted to get rims on your car and all this other stuff, right? But as a grown man now, if you're, you know, my age, and if you're like Master P's age and Birdman's age, and then you're, you know, headed towards your 60s, because both of them in their like what late 50s, should you be talking about how you was, you know, you're braggadocious about how you were stunning? Like it doesn't seem like when you hear Birdman talk, it doesn't sound like he's grown as a man. I'm saying, not trying to diss you, Birdman, you know what I'm saying, but it don't sound like he approaches it as a grown man. That sounds like a high schooler talking. I started this stunning ish. I was the first to put goals in my mouth, rims on my car, jewelry, and all this other stuff. Like, bro, you damn near 60, man. So that's another reason. And then the last reason, this is just me being petty. Master P is just a better rapper. Master P is a better artist than Birdman, right? When it comes to that, now I'm not saying Birdman tried to be like the best rapper and all this other stuff, right? Not saying P was trying to be the best rapper either, but in comparison, you know, how many Birdman CDs have you bought? You know, and I'm not saying Birdman put out bad projects. I'm just saying, like, out of Master P and Birdman, who would you go and listen to the most? Like, Master P has classic albums, you know what I'm saying? A classic or two. Birdman, nah. So that's just me being petty. Master P just a better artist. So that's another reason, and my last reason why Master P is first. Birdman always comes second to Master P. Let's look at these comments. Shout out to the comment section. Make sure that y'all hit the subscribe button if you have not already, and then also hit the super chat up, man. I love those super chats. Let me see some super chats. If you're on YouTube, show your boy some love. It could be $1, $2, $3. Hit that super chat. All right, so hold on. Let me go back. Let me go back because there's a lot of comments. Hold on, y'all. All right, so you said you got something to say. All right. So are you mimicking, who is this, Young Menace? You crazy, man. Definitely a better leader. Shout out to Santana 0910. You said, first off, peace and bless to you because I got introduced to you Saturday watching the verses. Okay, appreciate you, man. So were you watching the live, Young Menace? I wish I can go live with you, but I'm a big BG fan. I love both groups, but I didn't know Cash Money sounded that popped until No Limit played their records. Exactly. I don't know if you were watching Who Gave You a Podcast or Culturalist Theory or whatever beforehand, but that's what we were saying that was going to happen. I love Cash Money records. I love it. Bling Bling, number one stunner. That's my childhood too, like going into being a teenager. But when you're just comparing catalogs, man, that's pop rap compared to No Limit stuff, you know? But shout out to Young Menace. Master P has been generous to his artists. Birdman treated his artists like trash for sure. Shout out to Antonio Catchings. Sliding through. You said you sliding through. Malik Beasley. You said, wish I can go live with you, but hold on. So you the same person. So you watching on Facebook and YouTube? All right. Shout out to my cuz Bishop Porterfield. Y'all make sure y'all hit him up. P made sure his artist had a house, car, and insurance. Thank you. And they all lived in a subdivision as well. Yep. The houses were in their artist's name. Yep. And weapons. He had weapons. I think Snoop said that each one of them had like a pistol and stuff like that. Master P was more influential. I mean, Birdman was influential too. I'm not trying to crap on Birdman. He was influential too, but Master P was definitely more influential. Birdman literally had the streets of New Orleans. Birdman worth way more. Music wise, I mean, now, yeah, of course. I'm not saying that Birdman ain't worth more than P, but as a man, as being a man going into your 60s, Master P's not broke at all. Master P's still rich, but I feel like Master P resonates with people more at their age now. Master P was just a better man. You said Snoop would have been dead if it wasn't for P. Facts. Snoop will even tell you that. Baby is cutthroat. And then what you say? You said Baby was flooding the black community with heroin and murder. Master P is actually a good man. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Shout out to Cordero Fleming. You said I've been a Master P fan from day one. So day one, does that mean Get Away Clean, like 1991? Ain't that when that came out? And you said Baby said he's a game spitter, not a rapper. That's what Baby said for sure. And then you said when the ice hit the light, it twinkle and glisten. Now I'm not trying to crap on Birdman. I'm just saying, man, like in comparison, Master P is just the better man, I feel like, and it's showcased on that versus battle. But I still respect Birdman. Birdman is a slick talker and things like that. But I mess with Birdman. Birdman is a legend, OG. You could learn a lot of game from him. But Master P showed Birdman the game. Master P got the game from the Bay Area, from E40 and them, JT the Bigger Figure and all that other stuff. But Master P doesn't gloat around and say, I started this, I did this. You know what I'm saying? Master P, it's like, yeah, that's music, but ain't no money in music no more. I want to grow. And Birdman doesn't sound like he has grown as a man from the way he talked and all this other stuff. So that's that, you know. But yeah, that's how I look at them. I think Master P is just the better CEO, better man, and all this, Yeah, you're right. Birdman ain't nothing like Slim. Slim be out the way. If you notice, and I said on my last broadcast, Slim be out the way. Slim has been wearing the same type of clothing since 2000. Slim be wearing those, and the same thing. You see Slim in those big collar shirts that they sell at big and tall stores, and with the big cufflinks, and had that hat, a Yankees hat or whatever, and then have some forces on, and them big jeans. He be out the way. You don't hear nothing from Slim. Slim is what you call a real music executive. Real music executive, like how those white folks be. That's how Slim is. Like those white CEOs of record labels and stuff like that. You don't like you hear about Clive Davis, certain people like that. What's the other gentleman's name? Clive Davis, Leor Cohen, stuff like that. But it'd be a lot of other executives you just never heard about. Like we just learned who Lucian Grange was within the past couple of years because Kanye talked about him. But Slim be out the way. The only reason you know Slim is because his brother is flashy. And then Wayne and them, like, they'll give Slim a shout out and stuff like that. But Slim be out the way. Slim be out the way. And I don't be mad at him. That's what you call music executive. And then also Tony Draper. Tony Draper be out the way. Tony Draper be out the way. You never even seen what Tony Draper, and for those who don't know who Tony Draper is, there's a reason if you don't. Suave House. How many of y'all know who Suave House was, that record label? You know what I'm saying? Tony Draper is another one. You don't really know what he looked like that. You know what I'm saying? Tony Draper be out the way. He be getting his money and be out the way, but you can get a lot of game from him. Those are what you call like supreme music executives. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that P and Birdman wasn't, but P was also an artist. But those music executives like that, they just be out the way. They like, I'm trying to make money off of this thing. So shout out to them. You say, yes, I grew up riding my 93 Honda Accord bumping P. Man, I had a Honda Accord, 1990 Honda Accord back when I first started driving. And I remember when I had 212s in the back, I put on Bourbons and Lacs. This is back in 2006. 2006. Yeah, I think. And man, I had 212s on my Honda Accord, stick shift, and boy, this is for the Bourbons and the Cadillac. All good. You said when Birdman said I started this stunning-ish, Master P should have responded with SS hitting on Twitter. Hey, now look, allegedly, Hootie Who was supposed to be played after that. After Birdman said that, I think KLC, from my understanding, because my homeboy Coop the Trio, shout out to Coop the Trio, he told me that Hootie Who was supposed to be played after that, but he didn't. He did about it. So that would have been interesting, but that's a diss. That's a pure diss towards Birdman. So that would have been interesting. Hootie Who was going to be played though eventually. You said I had 2 punch 12s. Yeah, bro. Yeah, those are the days, man. But I got a truck now, so I ain't gonna put 12. I'll be traveling and stuff, so I can't do that. But when I get another whip, I definitely want to put like some 12s back there, bro. I used to be beating down the block back in Toneville in the hood of Mobile, man. That shit used to be crazy. But anyway, let me cover some other topics, man. So speaking of verses, let's talk about this. I want y'all's input on this. What's the next versus battle that can happen? So we never thought that we would see No Limit versus Cash Money, right? I never thought in a million years that I'd see that. I thought that Well, baby, ain't no enough money that you can pay him, but they did it. So if we had a Cardi versus Nicki battle, do you see that happening? Anything's possible, but for the people who love verses and stuff, who do you think will win out of Cardi versus Nicki? In my opinion, okay, if it's 20 for 20, 10 for 10, or whatever like that, I know Nicki is the quote unquote bigger artist that what you would say sold more, had more chart success. Cardi, that's because Cardi didn't really put out albums like that. But if you ask me, and I like Nicki better as a rapper, but if you asking me, I'm gonna go with Cardi. I'm gonna go with Cardi. What y'all think? What y'all think? Oh snap! Chris versus Usher. That would be. Whew, you know what? That might be. Damn. You know what? We'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Let me add that to the queue. Hold on. You hold that thought because I didn't think about that one. Um, let me add that in there. Hold on a second because we gonna have to have a discussion about that one. We'll talk about that one after this Cardi versus Nicki. But Cardi versus Nicki, who y'all got? I got Cardi. Yeah, okay. So Cordero, you say Cardi. Uh I'm gonna get to that. You naming some of the ones, or trust me, I'm gonna get to that. But I want to stick. I'm gonna do Cardi versus Nicki. Then we're gonna go into another one, that Usher versus Chris Rock. But I feel like Cardi would get Nicki simply because if you're comparing catalogs, right? If you're comparing catalogs in music, we know verses isn't just about song for song; it's about stage presence as well. But verses also is about, you could have those records like Dipset versus the Locks. Obviously, Dipset had more than the Locks, right? But more hits. But the Locks won by being more grittier and stuff like that. Cardi's music hits harder than Nicki's music. Nicki may be the better rapper, but in a versus battle, if Nicki does super bass, Cardi could come with some hard hitting stuff, man. She could hit it. Well, I like it. Or you know what, super bass and Cardi could do. I got a condo. No. What was Cardi on? The finesse one. Excuse me. Dripping in finesse, right? And then Nicki don't have street songs like that. Like on her mixtape, she did. But Pink Friday, I just asked if Pink Friday was a classic on my Who Gave You a Podcast show with CJ, and he said it was, but I say that it ain't. But if you ask me, I'm gonna go with Cardi, man. Like I'm more of a Nicki fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a Nicki fan. I just not even a Cardi fan. I just liked her project she put out this year. But I know in a verses, if it's hard hitting, you know what I'm saying? If it's song for song, I think Cardi would get Nicki. You said Cardi don't have enough songs. She got 10. If they did 10 versus 10, she got 10. She may have 15, man. Let me see, because she had a play. Like if you're counting features, I think she'll probably do pretty good. She might could get to 20. I know 15 for sure. And like you said, Young Menace. I just had it. Or you said Rain shot or Rain 4804. You said Cardi's more likable. That's true. And then Nicki is most pop. That's why I say Cardi would get her in a versus battle. That's why, right there. It'd be interesting to see Nicki maybe go against Missy. That'd be cool. But I think Cardi would get her. I really think Cardi would get her when you're talking about just music, going at music, because like even some of the songs Cardi put out just recently, like they hit harder. And I've just learned to find out, like in these versus battles, if you got the harder hitting songs, you might be the victor over that, you know. So that's that. Yeah, Cardi songs, I agree, they're more street and more ratchet. So that could be better for the crowd in the verses. That you can turn up the Cardi songs. There's only like a selected few songs from Nicki that you could turn up to, like Did It On Them, the Mrs. Itty Bitty thing, Mrs. Piggy from the, she did this, she got a dunk. I'm trying to think what else. You could do Fuck the Club, you could do that one. There's maybe a couple of them, but Cardi got more turn up songs. So I would give that to Cardi. Shout out to 0112 Jesse. You said P is also better MC rapper than me. I said that. Absolutely. All right, so let's go on to another fictional versus. Usher versus Chris Brown. I'm glad that you brought that up, bro. Usher versus Chris Brown. Who do you think the winner would be? I'm gonna let that marinate for a minute. Now, to me, and I think I've talked about this before, just think about it. Who would win that versus? To me, if you have Usher versus Breezy, I think Usher would win. I think Usher got that. Um, because Usher has harder songs to me. Like he has more mature songs than Chris Brown. However, it would be a generational clash. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like Usher, he has his fan base is primarily like Gen X, millennials, and he might have, I think he got some boomers too, right? Breezy pretty much has Gen Y, which is millennials, all the way down. He has some Gen Xers. I'm not saying that he don't, but you know, Chris Brown's music, especially his earlier music, was just mostly like that, you know, teenage music. Now, Usher was a teenager too at that time, you know, back when he first came out, but Usher had like Jermaine Dupri writing for him, and Jermaine Dupri was a grown man and made like Usher made more like grown man content than Chris Brown did early in his career. Chris Brown eventually made grown man content, but to me, Chris Brown is more, you know, his music. I don't be thinking of, you know, doing the do with his music. You know what I'm saying? Like, not me in particular. Like, if I need to go in the bedroom, I'm thinking of nice and slow, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That whole Confessions album, that's a that was a diamond album. You could play Usher could do a verses off of that one album alone. How many albums could Chris Brown do that with? How many albums could Chris Brown do that with? Shout out to Ashley Candy Candy. Shout out to Candy Candy. Beautiful Candy Candy. Lil Boosie, and that would be interesting. But what you said, do you think they will get a rematch in New Orleans? Nah, it would be dope. I don't think so. I don't think so. Like you said, yeah, Confessions album kills what Chris has. Yes. That one album alone could destroy Chris Brown. That's what I feel. Now, performance-wise, that would be crazy if Usher and Chris Brown went at each other. Chris would beat him with the live performances. We just seen what the man did on a stadium tour. But that'd be real interesting to see what they would do. It'll be real interesting to see what they would do. Now, this is one that I really want to see, and I feel like this is going to happen pretty soon. I'm hoping T.I. versus Lil Wayne. T.I. versus Lil Wayne. Who y'all got for that? T.I. Tip versus Lil Wayne. Who do y'all have for that? Me, um, to me, I know Lil Wayne has a lot of songs because when you hear Lil Wayne, you think, oh, he had like 100 features in 1 year. He got all these records, whatever, whatever. Y'all have to think about this. Lil Wayne, if you're doing, you got to condense all that stuff down to 20 versus 20 or 10 versus 10. That's what you have to think about. So, what 20 songs does Lil Wayne have? What 20 songs does Tip have? And how would that flesh out with each other? If you're asking J Red off of just what I'm thinking right now, muscle memory with their songs, I think Tip's catalog is better than Lil Wayne's catalog. Tip has better albums than Lil Wayne, I would say. Tip has his music aged better than Lil Wayne's. Tip had like more of a song structure type. Lil Wayne was freestyling a lot, which was dope at the time. But all those mixtape features and all, you know, those mixtape records and the features and stuff, they were dope. Don't get me wrong. Carter 1 and Carter 2, some of my favorite albums, but Wayne would need to dig into his bag. You know what I'm saying? Like automatically you think of just his run and how much he did, but you have to think about his songs versus somebody else's songs. And like you said, here we go. You said Tip got real street anthems like No Limit. Wayne got commercial BS. Okay. Tip has ASAP, Be Easy. I don't hope he don't play Be Easy, but he got ASAP, Bring Him Out. You Don't Know Me. Tip got a lot, man. He got features too. He got pop features, you know. What was the song he had with Justin Timberlake? Don't Take Away My Love. Yeah, My Love. He got that. T.I. got the Blurred Line song. T.I. had more range than Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is dope, but when you talking about like that hard hitting stuff, like Lil Wayne has some dope stuff from what he was saying, like a Millie and just a whole bunch of different stuff, right? But I think T.I. would have the edge over Lil Wayne for sure. Now, if you remember, T.I. was supposed to go against Jeezy, and I was so hyped. This was during COVID, I want to say, but they ended up doing T.I. versus, Jeezy versus Gucci. And I was let down by that. You know what I'm saying? I was let down because T.I. and Jeezy could have had a epic versus. I even did a versus mix to that, a DJ mix, and I put it on my YouTube. I think it's still on my YouTube. T.I. versus Jeezy. It was dope. I got to play that after this. But I think that that'll be dope. That'll be dope if they did that. My beat down low, down low. Yep. You said if T.I. played I'm Illy acapella, it's over. Man, T.I. would go in, King, Paper Trail. Lil Wayne could do some stuff. I'm not saying that T.I. is gonna wash Lil Wayne, but I feel like T.I.'s music next to Lil Wayne, yeah, for sure, for sure. You said Lil Wayne don't have substance half the time. Exactly. T.I. had that substance, you know what I'm saying? Like T.I. had stuff, that hit your soul. Lil Wayne was entertaining. I'm not gonna say Lil Wayne hit your soul. Lil Wayne just was an icon of what he was doing. But if you ask me, it's T.I. I would go with T.I. I'm really hoping because they already got camaraderie, they're friends and stuff like that. I think they still friends, but I think Timberland and Swish should hook that up because my eyes will be glued to that. You said Tip and Wheezy have 20. The only issue is Wheezy's Carter series has bigger commercial hits. Got to remember Carter. Nah, bro. I would argue that Tip's albums have more commercial hits. You know what I'm saying? Carter 3 had a few. Let's look at Carter 3's playlist. Track list. Hold on. So Carter 3. Let's look at the ones everybody would know. So you have he could do the B-sides too, but you got a Millie, Got Money, Mrs. Officer, and Lollipop. Now the B-sides you had Three-Peat, Mr. Carter, Let the Beat Build, you could say. So that's cool. But those songs, let's look at let's go to T.I. Let me pick an album. Let me pick King. Let me pick King. Let's go to King. All right, so King had Front Back, What You Know, Live in the Sky, Ride With Me, Why You Wanna, Top Back. Okay, and that's when it stopped. Bankhead, that was a hard one too. You know what I'm saying? So he, Tip got some stuff, man. Tip got some stuff. That's off of just one album. You said Boosie versus Plies. That'll be interesting. All right. You said Carter 3 came out the same year as Paper Trail. No. Paper Trail came out in 08. Carter's 3 came out in, hold on. No, I guess you are right. Yeah. You're right. You're right. It's been so many years, I forgot. Paper Trail was 2 commercial. Yeah. Stand Up. That was off of Urban Legend. Yeah, for sure. But I definitely think Tip would get that. Now let's move on. Now, shout out to Candy. This was a request to talk about. So speaking of T.I., let's talk about Lil Flip. What happened to Lil Flip? All right, so this was suggested a little earlier. So Lil Flip, let's talk about Lil Flip. So with Lil Flip, Lil Flip was going hard when he first came out. When I first heard of Lil Flip, it was back in like 2002. And I actually have an interview with Lil Flip I did like a few years ago. So you can check that out on this page. And we was talking about Urban Legend. Not Urban Legend, my bad. That's T.I. But Underground Legend. He did Underground Legend. I bought that album. I love the songs that was on there. You Gotta Feel Me. I had that album. He did Leprechaun. So Lil Flip had a rise to fame. You know what I'm saying? Lil Flip is, he was doing his thing. But there was one individual that a lot of people felt like that ended his career. When T.I. took the opportunity to go at him, T.I., let's be real, wanted to have a 50 Cent versus Ja Rule moment. It's a lot of people that don't even feel like they had a real issue, T.I. They said T.I. made up that those girls were talking, saying that Flip was talking ish about him and stuff like that. But ever since, let me see. So when they got into that battle, T.I. rose. That battle is the reason why T.I. rose to where he was. T.I. was already kind of making noise a little bit, but he was a gold artist versus Lil Flip being a platinum artist at the time. If you remember, Lil Flip went platinum off of one video with Underground Legend. And then he put out You Gotta Feel Me and Game Over and Sunshine. He was all the way up here. Tip was still like right here. He was surface level. He had Be Easy, he had Trap Music. That album was booming, but it took him like 4 singles to go gold. That's what Lil Flip always used to get at him at. But eventually, after the battle, Flip went down and then T.I. elevated. What happened to Lil Flip after that? Now I remember it took him years to put out an album. What was that album called? What was it now? What was that album called? I'm trying to think off of my memory, because You Gotta Feel Me was the album before that. Let me see, because I'm forgetting. Let me see. I forgot the name. I Need Mine. That's what it was. I just thought of it. I Need Mine. So I remember it took years for I Need Mine to come out. He put out a single with Manny Fresh. And then that kind of did a little thing, but then it just took a long time. So then finally he put out that single with Life Jennings, and it was cool. But by that time, that Houston wave was gone. It was like 07 or something like that, and it was pretty much a wrap, right? And Lil Flip just kind of just faded back. He started doing stuff on this independent label called Real Talk Entertainment. Like Lil Scrappy put out an album with them. Bone, like Busy Bone and Lazy Bone put out an album with them. Young Noble, Outlaws. R.I.P. to Young Noble, by the way. But Flip kind of faded to the back after that. Somehow he got off of Columbia Records and he just kind of faded to the back. But if you want to see what happened to him most recently, he did have a interview that was with Art of Dialogue most recently. But I want to ask y'all this. Do you feel like if Lil Flip wouldn't have got into that rap battle with T.I., A, would T.I. be as big as he is? And then B, do you feel like Lil Flip would still be talked about a little bit longer? Because he wasn't gonna last forever. But do you think that T.I. ended Flip's career, or is it the fact that Lil Flip really didn't have a follow-up after that? You said Flip didn't stay commercial. He went back underground after the Tip beef. Yep. Lil Flip got put in the same situation as Ja Rule. Yeah, pretty much. But I think, but Ja Rule, to be fair, I think Ja Rule was worse. I think Ja Rule was a little worse. Because Lil Flip, I think that his label issues kind of held him back. I feel like if Flip kind of kept going, he may have been straight. Because it ain't like T.I. embarrassed Flip. You know what I'm saying? Like he just put out some diss records. It just felt like Flip just kind of fell to the back. That's what it looked like. It wasn't one record that made like, how 50 Cent put out Back Down. Kendrick put out Not Like Us. Nas put out Ether. Tip didn't ether Lil Flip. You know what I'm saying? It's just that Tip just was more consistent with just putting out disses and all this other stuff. And that just gave him kind of a boost. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't get Ja Ruled. It just, he kind of just faded back. He said Lil Flip has real classes. T.I. made his career by destroying Lil Flip. Exactly, right? Tip would still rise above because he's a better rapper technically. Okay. Tip can rap too. Yeah, he can rap. He can rap. I just don't think he would be as big as he was, right? Because that beef kind of fueled that that album Urban Legend, right? And then after that, it just took off. But you remember when T.I. went down to Houston, Cloverland, and got whooped? Y'all remember that? His they got that was stupid, by the way. He was just trying to make a statement, you know what I'm saying? But it was crazy. You said, shout out to Jen Tuck. You said, let me drop that mic with you. There's no artist with no limit millionaires. There's no artist with no limit millionaires. Whatever that means. You said Tip can rap, but he met his match with Luda. Now Luda definitely got Tip. I remember that. Luda definitely got Tip with that. But yeah, that propelled Tip's career. But I don't think that Lil Flip got Ja Ruled per se. That's a stretch. That's definitely a stretch. But also, let me do this shameless plug. We have Who Gave You a Podcast t-shirts. I'm wearing one right now. They look pretty dope, man. Y'all can go to this link right here. Hold on for a second. Let me show y'all this. For those who support or want to support the channel, even if you don't add to the super chat, why don't you head over to Who Gave You a Podcast.Big Cartel and order one of these shirts for me? All right. We have this shirt right here, the Who Gave You a Podcast shirt. with our logo right here with the guy pointing at you. You know, good material, quality material, and everything like that. You can go to who gave you a podcast.bigcartel.com. And then we also have this shirt available with our logo on it. We got the plain blue one, look pretty nice. Like I said, good material and everything like that. You can go straight over to who gave you a podcast.bigcartel.com and show your boy some love and order one of these shirts. Like I said, I got one on right now. Show some love to your boy. Break bread with your boy. I love being here with y'all. Just support. So we have those available for purchase right now. So you can make sure that you go ahead and do that. All right. So you said talk about Mariah Carey versus Mary J. Blige. Is that who you talking about? I hope you're not talking about Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige. Now I love Mary J. But Mariah Carey would smoke Mary J. Blige. Like, let me think. I mean, because I'm over here going off commercial success. I think they just got two different fan bases. I don't think I would see them going tit for tat with each other. Mary J would go maybe against Keisha Cole or somebody like that. Like, I don't see Mary J and Mariah Carey go at it. You said Lil Flip had sucker free radio on XM and had a whole campaign against T.I. These boys had free radio. I don't remember him having sucker free radio. That's what's up. You said Luda heard Tip Diss before the song came out and responded. It was a big mic drop, but head to head. Yeah, I remember that, man, because it was on Young Buck's album, that Stomp song. And I remember it came out on the internet. And do you remember they left T.I.'s verse on there at first? You remember they left T.I.'s verse on there first. And then what's messed up, they kept Luda's verse on the official version. They put the Game on there because I was a big G Unit fan back then. I bought Young Buck's album straight out of Cashville, and they left Luda's verse on there. They left his verse, but took out T.I.'s verse. And on that official album to this day, Ludacris is still dissing T.I. So that was messed up. All right, so let's move into some like current topics. All right. So shout out to my Drake fans and Kendrick fans. Yes, we're still talking about it, even though it's been a year later. But right now, let's look at this, right? And the reason I'm making this a big deal is because Aubrey's Angels, aka Drake fans, made this a big deal. There are no Drake or Kendrick songs on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Oh my God, they fell off the charts. Okay. The reason I'm talking about this is because last week you saw, if you're on Twitter, like I am, I don't tweet on there like that, but I just be scrolling through and just looking at stuff, right? Really, ever since the Kendrick and Drake beef, that's what made me just be kind of active on Twitter, just looking at stuff, right? So last week, it was all reported that Kendrick Lamar, for the first time since like March of 2024, March of last year, didn't have any songs that were charting on the Billboard Hot 100. So the Drake's fans were just like, oh my God, see, I told y'all, without Drake, he's nothing. Those bots, excuse me, those bots fizzled out. There ain't no more bots, and Kendrick really ain't like that. Drake is the real king and all this other stuff, right? So what I told those idiots at the time was that Billboard has a new rule, right? To where, first off, if your music, like not like us, had to be taken off the charts, because I think after like a 52-week span, I think you can't be on the Billboard like that for a song. It's like a new Billboard rule. I think it's called like a 50-week rule or something like that. And Kendrick's songs, they're not going to be on forever. You know what I'm saying? That GNX album is about to be years since that came out. Those songs ain't going to stay on the charts forever, especially how fast music moves. So for the first time since March of 2024, he didn't have any songs on the charts. Okay. Now let's look at this. Oh boy, Aubrey's Angels, where are y'all at? Look at this. It says there are no Drake songs charting on the Billboard Hot 100 this week for the first time since February. He had previously been on the charts for the last 35 consecutive weeks. So the Aubrey's Angels, let's go scroll through and see what they got to say. Because this is what I felt like. Crazy how Drake fans were celebrating Kendrick falling off the charts due to recurrent status for 85 weeks, and their GOAT only had a 35-week run on the charts. Okay. So they're making excuses. So they're talking about longest week on the charts, Drake 431, Kendrick 80 weeks, whatever the case may be. Whatever. But my thing is this. Y'all fans are too focused on the charts these days. Like I like charts too for data purposes, but y'all got to let this go. Okay. Both artists, they're not going to be on there forever. Shout out to them. But Kendrick and Drake, that's two different situations at this point. I think right now people are having Drake fatigue. Drake fatigue is going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason is because those songs that he's been putting out don't have the same impact like he used to have. That's the long and short of it. Kendrick Lamar, yeah, the beef added to him creating GNX and Not Like Us and stuff, but GNX wasn't talking about Drake like that. You know what I'm saying? It was a couple of songs that kind of referenced him, but for the most part, that was his victory lap. And it lasted a long time on the charts. So what's the big deal? Drake just put out these songs this year, and for Drake to be Thanos, like y'all say he is, super superb, right? They're supposed to carry us to the next year. He's supposed to have this song of the summer, all this other stuff. But when you look at it, it's because people maybe don't like Drake music as much as they used to. That's how I look at it. It's a little Drake fatigue. I can say honestly, and this is another thing too. Drake, beef with his record label, so they may not be spending a lot of money to keep his songs in rotation, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But I think honestly, it's because Drake hadn't been making the music that he's been used to making. But at the end of the day, y'all got to get off of these charts, because how you were laughing at Kendrick, now when it comes to Drake, it's let's compare charts. Drake historically has been on the charts longer than Kendrick. Y'all shut up. Y'all just can't take an L worth to save their lives. And my thing is, Drake took the L. You know what I'm saying? He's going to court, but he took the L because that's the reason he's going to court. How come y'all can't accept it? It's ridiculous. What you say? So you said albums has to sell. P put them in a position to win. Yep. Master P did. What you say? Give this dude a like. He give us a real hip hop discussion. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, please hit the like button. If y'all are watching right now, do like user-IP3RZ, all that stuff. I know you probably don't want your name out there, but shout out to you. Please just hit the like button. That's all I'm asking. And if you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button. Okay, we do this show weekly. All you got to do, just hit the share button, hit the like button. What you say? Drake is only as big as he is because he's okay. They push for some reason. Okay, only reason I say that is because I don't, they kind of funny with that on here. Drake has his hits. Stop the cap. Who said that he don't have hits? I'm talking about previously. What hits has Drake dropped this year besides Nokia? I know you're not talking about the ones that he dropped just recently. That which one? What did I miss? Here Today came tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Here Today, gone tomorrow. It's not there. Versus back when Scorpion came out, In My Feelings, you couldn't go outside without hearing In My Feelings. Mob Ties. What's those other songs he had? Nonstop. Just a bunch of stuff. But it's just it's Drake fatigue. I'm talking about 2024 to 2025 within this last year. Everything else before that, see, Drake has already kind of been on the decline anyway. It's just that was the quiet part out loud. Back then he had that strong backing behind him. So when he put out a song like Slime You Out, it automatically went number one. It's not like that no more. And that's simply one of the reasons, because the record label, he just sued the people that's putting out his music. You know what I'm saying? But now it's a different thing. It's a different thing now. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely has his hits. You said, does Drake write his own music? Is he making the beats? No, he's not. You said most Drake songs have popularity at launch but dies down. Who is bumping Kiki? I mean, yeah, but I'm talking about from back then. They were bumping it for a long time. I'm just talking about like right now. I'm not discrediting Drake as an artist, but we're talking about 2025. He's just not hitting as hard as he used to. You said talk about Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC. That'll be big. I wonder if they would do that. If Verzuz does that, man, that'll be epic. I could see that happening. Who I would pick, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But what you say? Who wins? Natural butt versus BBL? Natural. Ladies, if you have a natural butt, you win automatically. Not these BBLs. I heard BBL smell funny too. That's what I heard. I've never been with a woman who had a BBL, but I heard BBLs smell funny. But anyway, let's talk about another current event. Just a couple more topics we're going to talk about. So Cameron, he sues J. Cole. Cameron sues J. Cole. Did y'all hear about that? Chat, did y'all hear about that? Let's look this up. I saw this and I was a little confused. I'm like, what's going on, man? What is going on? All right, so let's look at this. So Cameron sues J. Cole over Ready 24. Now, for those who aren't in the know, Ready 24 was a song off of Might Delete Later. Y'all remember what was that? That was last year when J. Cole put out the Might Delete Later album, street mixtape, whatever you want to call it. And he put that infamous 7-minute drill song about Kendrick, and then he took it off the streaming platforms and all this other stuff. But that's that album, right? So Cameron was on there. It was a dope project, by the way. It was a very, very dope project. Cameron had a song with him on there, so that's what he's suing him over. Let's read it. So rappers are taking beefs from the studio to the courtroom. Cameron just sued J. Cole over Ready 24. In the court documents obtained by TMZ, Cameron claims he wrote lyrics and dropped a verse on the song in exchange for Cole agreeing to collaborate with him on a future project or at least appear on Cam's popular It Is What It Is podcast. Cam alleges that 2 years after the recording, J. Cole neglected to do either. Cameron says Ready 24 was recorded back in 2022, and from July 2023 to April 2024, Cam says he continued to communicate with J. Cole, who repeatedly stated he was unavailable for the podcast. Cam also says the subsequent music collaboration between them never materialized, despite efforts by Cam to put it together. Cam says he hasn't been properly compensated and wants a judge to declare him co-author of Ready 24 and to order a full accounting of any money earned by the song so he can get his share, which he estimates to be in excess of $500K. All right. So what are my thoughts about this? This show is called Red's View. So what are my thoughts about that? So first off, some people were saying, dang, they couldn't have had a conversation because a lot of people who are ignorant read just the headlines, right? But what people fail to realize is they didn't read the documents of what happened. So basically, it looked like this. Cameron didn't get paid for that feature. Now, if you remember, Cameron was actually on J. Cole's album. What was that album called? I always forget it. Off Season. And he was just talking on there. He did a little intro, so they had good repertoire, whatever. So it looks like to me, Cameron said, hey, you ain't got to pay me no money. But if you come on my podcast as a guest, that'll be enough. That's compensation. Or when I got an album coming out, you give me a feature. I bless you with a feature. So it's like a barter system type of thing. So Cameron tried to reach out to J. Cole for the last couple of years, actually. He tried to, with the last year and a half, right? So the song was recorded back in 2022. So maybe like the last couple of years. So the album came out, whatever. So if you're reaching out to somebody and they're not communicating with you or they never, fulfilled their promise, what else did you expect them to do? You know what I'm saying? I don't look at this as corny, okay? Because I saw Drake fans in the comments talking about, oh my God, y'all getting on Drake for going to the courtroom. How come Cameron can't, be criticized? This is a different situation. This isn't a rap battle. This is business, okay? Just like if Kendrick Lamar promised Drake a feature and, Kendrick Lamar did a feature with Drake and he said, hey, no money, but come on my podcast, come out on my tour, just whatever the agreement was, and Drake never fulfilled that, then it's an issue. This isn't the same of suing somebody over a damn rap battle, losing a rap battle. All Cam wants is his money. And see, sometimes all you have to do is file these lawsuits, and unfortunately, it's court document, which is public documents. I mean, you can obtain these and stuff like that, right? It goes to the court. It goes to the public, actually, right? So unfortunately, it has to be broadcasted like this. But sometimes this is the only way you can get somebody's attention, ladies and gentlemen. This is what business is. You know what I'm saying? Drake sued over petty BS and defamation, trying to prove that it's bots and stuff like that when he engaged in a rap battle. This is a completely different thing. You're a big star and you want me to be on your record. Bet. Okay. Pay if you're not gonna pay me and it's a barter system thing. Hey, bro, just come on my podcast. Hey, bro, be a feature on my song. You know what I'm saying? I got this podcast I'm trying to blow up and I'm hitting you up. Cam is hitting J. Cole up. Oh man, I'm busy. I can't get to it despite whatever it's going through. And I'm reaching out to you. And I'm quite sure Cam had let him know, hey, bro, we're gonna have to go to court. Cole could have just said, forget it. But sometimes this is how you get someone's attention, and it may be a settlement. Okay. For all we know, J. Cole could say, you know what? We can make some more money off of this. Let me just come on the show. You got my attention, and we can run those views up, because I can guarantee you now, this is guaranteed to get millions of views if J. Cole comes on there. So this could be settled out. Cameron's a cool dude, but Cameron is Harlem at the end of the day. He's a grown man. He wants that money. So if you're not going to pay me, if you're not going to have me on, you're not going to be a guest on my show, then at least let me get paid. Let me get at least 500K, or let me be a co-author on that song, because it don't even sound like he got like writing credits or nothing like that. I don't know. Well, I mean, he had got writing credits, but he wasn't properly compensated, so I don't see a problem with this. Yes, sir. Hit that like button. Dude, bringing up real hip hop debate. Exactly. What you say? Natural always wins. These women are like Frankenstein these days. Fake hair, fake everything. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, when you talking about that, man, I don't think that this is the same as the Drake lawsuit. No, if you're not going to compensate me properly or do what you promised, hey, bro, I got to take you to court instead of putting my hands on you. You know what I'm saying? Like Dame Dad said, I'd rather take you to court instead of putting hands on you, sending people out to get you, whatever the case may be. You're supposed to fulfill this obligation. All right. Now you can't say, man, he's street. What you expect, for those who think that it's not right, what do you expect Cameron to do? What you expect? Because I'm quite sure that that album gets streams. J. Cole is a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? What'd you say? Cole was like, exactly. And you're gonna be laughing at the thumbnail that I made with that. But yeah, it's like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. Like I think, I'm all for people being properly compensated and different things like that. So yeah, what you say, Young Menace? Let's have a conversation about Rihanna going 20 against Beyonce. Man, I like, to be honest, I don't see that happening. If they did go at it, I don't know. See, to me, that's just not a good matchup, in my opinion. Rihanna versus Beyonce. Like, they're two different artists. See, versus battles typically are like Babyface versus Teddy Riley. You know what I'm saying? That's more like it. You know what I'm saying? Babyface versus Teddy Riley, Jeezy versus Gucci. You got to have like some matchups. Like Rihanna and Beyonce, I don't even know how to have a conversation about that, because they're just different artists. But y'all let me know in the comments what you think about Cameron suing J. Cole. For the people who feel like, oh, that's bad for rappers going in the courtroom. No, it's okay to go get your money. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to go get your money. If Drake sued his label for not paying him properly, that's okay. But suing over a rap battle, that's two different things. One more thing I wanted to cover, man. Are we tired of Megan Thee Stallion twerking? Are we tired of Megan Thee Stallion being a one-trick pony and twerking? Now, listen, man, don't take this the wrong way. J Red, I love seeing women twerk. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I like seeing women twerk. I like twerking videos. I don't just, I think I'm kind of desensitized from it now because they do it so much, but I'm talking about Megan Thee Stallion. So Megan Thee Stallion, she put out a new song. And it's called Lover Girl. Okay. Now the song samples Total's Kissing You. Okay. So I didn't hear the song first. I saw the video first. And when I saw the video first, I shook my head. Not because Megan isn't an attractive woman, not because she didn't have a nice body. It's because I feel like Megan has not grown as an artist. And this is what I'm talking about. Okay. Fair use, by the way. I'm not going to play the full song, but look, this is the video. Okay. This is the video. Megan getting her twerk on and all this other stuff, right? She just going at it. Looking great, looking good, she's doing her thing. But, let me see if it's going to show this other part where she's twerking, because I don't want to play the whole video, but it's just her just twerking, popping ass, all that other stuff, right? Because it should be some more clips of it somewhere. I'm trying to think where it is, but in this video, she has to show, let me see if I can find something else. Hold on, y'all. Give me just a minute. Let me see if I can find like another one. Let Let me see, because I saw another one where she was just like busting it open. It looked like. Where's another clip? They were all on Twitter. Hold on, let me see. Is this one? I want to make sure I play it right before it goes. Where is it? Because I will pull. Because I saw a clip of it somewhere, but anyway, I ain't gonna hold it too long. But what I'm saying is with Megan, you know, it seems like, have y'all felt this? That era of rap feels like it's over. When women just be twerking and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like that seems like ever since this rap battle happened, that's what it seems like. That female rap, slut rap is kind of out the door now. Now it's about turning up, you know what I'm saying? But Megan Thee Stallion feels like a one-trick pony, and it looks like she just hasn't grown as an artist. Because in order for you to listen to her music or get into her, she has to pop her ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. It looks great. But after a while, don't you want to grow as an artist? I'm not complaining about the twerking. I like twerking just as the next man, right? But after a while, you just looking like, okay, shouldn't you be doing something else? Because at one point she was known for twerking on her knees. You remember that? Like she got good knees, good thighs, and all this other stuff. So you would think like after a while, you do something more than that. Because that Lover Girl song wasn't about twerking and stuff like that. So why are you twerking in, what I'm saying, showing your ass in the video? It's like that's what she relies on now. And it's just like after a while, it's like, okay, are you tired of doing that? And I saw her fans say, like, come on, man. It's like the only thing you can do is bend over, bust it for people to like your music. And I would just think that you would be grown like that. Why couldn't you, if that was supposed to be about being in love and loving your man with Klay Thompson, how come you didn't have him in the video? Maybe it would have been okay if you were twerking on him. I don't know. But it's just like showing your body cool. Don't get me wrong. But it's like Megan does the same antics every time. Cause I just scrolled and I saw it. I'm like, oh, she popping ass again. Like, damn, you got Glorilla out here not even doing that. Glorilla's looking cute nowadays. Cardi B, her body look a mess. But with Megan, I know she got a natural body and everything. It just in 2025, you would think that she would be more than what she is with all the twerking and stuff like that. I think that she could grow more than that. You know what I'm saying? You said I'm not. I love her. Okay, all right. All the new female rappers be twerking. Not like they used to though. Not like they used to. Yep, you said Trina wasn't twerking exactly. Trina did a little bit, and Kim was sexual. And I'm not saying women can't be sexual. It's just like Megan, her shtick is twerking. She was twerking at the Democratic rally. You remember that the the Kamala Harris rally and all this other stuff. You said Lil Kim kicked off this for today's female, and they follow her footsteps. They do. And I'm just looking at like, damn, like what else, Megan? You know what I'm saying? Because I like what's the next level? What's the next level to Megan Thee Stallion? Like, is she gonna be twerking forever? Like, God dog, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, but she looked great. She looks great. Not saying that's it, but it's like what Ice Spice was turning into. Y'all remember that when she was performing at some like when Ice Spice first started performing, she couldn't do nothing. She would rap for a little bit and then she just had to bend over and just start twerking. It's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying twerking ever gonna go away, but I feel like a artist like Megan, you should be more than that now. There's other ways you can be sexual besides that. I'm like, God, dog. But you said, but popular female rappers are half naked and talk about sex. They do. But I feel like it's been a change. Have y'all noticed it hadn't really been that female rap wave like it used to? It hadn't been that female rap wave like it used to. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just me. I may be by myself on that, but I think that after a while you need to have some growth as an artist. Like talk like how I was criticizing Birdman earlier. You over here still talking about I started this stunt stuff, and I'm the number one stunner. That's cool, but you need to have growth. That's all I'm saying. Just a little growth. Just a little growth, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, man. We had a pretty good time. What you say? Eve was never nasty. Eve was fine though, man. Eve was sexy. She was real fine. Eve used to be a stripper. Eve used to be a stripper. Trina used to be a stripper. But it's funny that Trina talked about sex and everything, but that wasn't just her stick. She, Trina had the Here we go again. Like she had that, the baddest chick. Like Trina had, different content. You know what I'm saying? Eve did for sure. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all for long, man. I just had to come on here talk about this. Like I said, we go live each week. I may start doing more and more people join in and stuff like that. Y'all do me a favor, man. Just hit that share button for me. We want to continue to grow this channel. Also, make sure that you go to Who Gave You a Podcast and go to Who Gave You a Podcast Big Cartel. Let me show y'all this. Support your boy. You could do a super chat. If not, you can go here, order a shirt. Who Gave You a Podcast Big Cartel. Also, go subscribe to my Who Gave You a Podcast channel on YouTube. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Y'all go over here to Who Gave You a Podcast and hit that subscribe button for me. Let me show y'all this. Because if y'all like this, I'm telling you, you're gonna like my show with my homie CJ. Go to YouTube and go to Who Gave You a Podcast. We got like over 1 million views on this video too. Let me show y'all this. Let me go to my Instagram. Hold on. Let me go to my Instagram and show you this video collectively now. With this video that we did covering the versus battle, between this and Facebook, the views are over 1 million, and TikTok as well. But where is my page? How do I go to my profile? Okay. So yeah, this video right here. Let me show y'all this one. This video right here, does it show the viewers on this? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, 771K. This video right here. This was crazy.
You know I started that stuff shit, nigga. Well, guess what, nigga? I was uptown too, and I started that one
Yeah, Stone. Now it was so much I had to look in the camera. But that's been getting shared everywhere. We like at 771,000 views on Instagram. And you can follow me on Instagram right here at JAYR3D. And then we're at like over 300K on Facebook, and then at like 40K on TikTok, and I think like 10K on YouTube for that. So much love. Our Who Gave You a Podcast has reached like 900,000 people, but we've reached over 1 million views on that last video. You said, how do you feel what Jay said about nobody can go against him in the verses? He said that. Shout out to Tyrone Montgomery, my partner. Well, you said, how do I feel about Jay-Z saying nobody can go against him in the verses? Man, I think Nas could do it. It would have to be somebody like Nas. It damn sure wouldn't be Wayne. All right, appreciate the super chat. You said, how many men buy female rap music playing in their cars? What I would say, I ain't gonna lie, because let me make sure I read that. You said, how many men buy female rap music and then you play it in your cars? So with me, I bought female rap music. I don't know if I would say I play it in my car per se. I play some of like that Cardi song that's out right now called Airtime. I play that when I work out. But to me, I don't know if it's just me, fellas. Y'all let me know. Have you bought a female rap album and you just listen to it like all the way through, like on the regular like that? If you have, name the female rap albums you've done that to. I think it's only been a select few that I've really done that to, because I like female rappers, but I don't resonate with female rappers like I do with male rappers. Now, a female R&B, for some reason, like a female R&B album, I could probably do that with. But I think when Pink Friday came out, I had bought that album. It was like discounted like $5 on Amazon. It was that, and I bought Lloyd Banks's Hunger for More too. And I was playing that, but I had a chick with me too, so that's what it feels like. I play those albums the most, you know what I'm saying? Like after a while, I'm like, okay, cool, and I'll listen to it when it come out, you know what I'm saying? But appreciate you. You said my homie Who Gave You Pie, definitely popping. Y'all tap in for sure. Thank you. Yes, y'all check that out. But yeah, y'all chime in on Rain G 4804. Do y'all fellas, and don't be afraid to admit it, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. Do you have any female rap albums that you listen to and everything like that? just listen to them on the regular because I don't resonate with them as much. But I would say for sure I had that hardcore, that Lil Kim, and then I had Pink Friday. Those are like the two female rap albums that I had owned. But I can't think of anybody else like that. Now I think I put female rap albums like on play. I mean, like music on playlist and burnt CDs and stuff like that back then. Um, all right, y'all want to talk about this? You said, "Yo, a versus that's gonna happen soon," and I got Scarface edging Ice Cube. Ice Cube versus Scarface. That would be good. That would be good. I listen to Conscious Daughters. They from the Bay '90s gangster rap. Okay. Oh, Rhapsody. Rhapsody. Yes, Rhapsody. I just thought about that. That's a female artist that don't even feel like a man or a female. I mean, she don't feel like just a female artist to me. She feels like a just regular, just a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So Rhapsody's first album that came out for sure. Grew up in '90s Northern Cali. Ghetto Twins. They went hard. Y'all remember they was on Rap a Lot. Shout out to the Ghetto Twins. You said that you bumped Shauna. Shauna had like what, 2 albums that was on DTP. Yep, Shauna had 2 albums. Um, and when I say bump, like you bumped it on the regular, right? You just had that in rotation. Because with me, it's like I don't know if I bumped them like just straight through just for weeks or whatever. You said, okay, Lady of Rage, okay, all right. Lady of Rage, she went hard. Versus should do an East versus West, but might have to do a 2 or 3 day event. Yeah, they're gonna have to get a lot of other stuff out the way before they do that. That'll be interesting. Uh yeah, those are good artists. There are a lot of good female rappers. I actually did a video talking about like the Mount Rushmore female rappers. And I forgot who was on my list, but yeah, MC Light. So you bumped MC. Yeah, shout out to MC Light. She was dope. Missy Elliott for sure. But Missy Elliott, yeah, she more of like, I don't even put her as a female. She's a female artist. I ain't even just talking about a rapper. Interscope versus Def Jam. But see, this is the difference. Like Interscope is a parent company, a parent kind of record label. Def Jam is more just a hip hop label. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say Interscope versus Def Jam. What you got? You said Conscious Daughters, Marvelous. I don't know if I know Conscious Daughters. Shout out to Yo Yo. They can't play with my Yo Yo. Ruthless Juveniles from New Orleans have classes. I gotta look these people up. Ruthless Juveniles. Sugar T. Okay, I've heard of Sugar T before. So y'all just naming female rappers. Okay, so Yo Yo, you can't play with my. I saw Yo Yo live a couple of years ago too. Yeah. Tyrese Avant, Genuine Tank, and Jamie can do a versus. That'll be dope. What if TGT did a versus? Tyrese versus Genuine versus Tank. That'll be dope. You said Suge Knight versus his cigar. That'd be hilarious. Funky Expedition was performed by Conscious Daughters. I gotta, if I play it, I probably know what it is. I'm a DJ, by the way. If y'all don't know, if y'all in the A, I'm in the A. So if you need a DJ, you can hit me up. Go to my Instagram, you see like all the events that I be doing. But yeah. I think Tyrese versus Genuine versus Tank, that'll be good. I was thinking of another one, like an R&B one, like Jodeci versus Boys to Men or something like that. That'll be interesting. Jodeci versus Boys to Men. I don't know who could go toe to toe with New Edition. I say that New Edition versus somebody, because that's Bobby's catalog. Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill. Just too many. What you say? Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Trio 301. Nah, that ain't gonna happen. That would break the internet. That would break the internet, but that ain't gonna happen. But you know what? I never thought Cash Money versus No Limit would happen, and we never thought Gucci versus T.I. would happen. So you never know. If they were to do that, that ain't gonna be till like 15 years from now. 15 years. New Edition versus Boys to Men. I got New Edition. New Edition just got too much in the tank from everybody. Graveyard Soldiers from New Orleans, album Day of Execution classic. Go listen to it. That ain't the ones that sound like a copy of Bone Thugs and Harmony, are they? You talking about Graveyard Soldiers? Hold on, let me make sure that's them, because if you talking about that album, let me see. Graveyard Soldiers. I think you talking about them dudes. that sound like a rip off Bone Thugs and Harmony. Let me see. Is that them? Yeah, that is them. Yeah, bro. I tried. They sound like a rip off Bone Thugs, man. For sure. Jodeci got to see Drew Hill. That would be good. That would be good. Jodeci, Drew Hill. Yeah. You said Boys to Men will win. I don't know, because I don't know. Boys to Men records would hit harder than Jodeci records. It would just depend. It would really just depend. Um, so yeah, it would really just depend on that. TLC versus Destiny's Child. Hmm. If you play Beyonce records, that's gonna be interesting. TLC versus Destiny's Child. Who would I pick in that one? I don't know. That'll be tough because I don't think Destiny's Child has a song that can go against No Scrubs. I don't think Destiny's Child has a song that can go against So I Creep. Well, they could do No No No, Cater to You. They got some songs, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Um, so that'll be interesting. Jodeci versus Drew Hill, though. I'm gonna go with. I mean, me personally. I would say Drew Hill because Drew Hill had more music than they did. But and you talking about round for round, that it'll have to be 10 versus 10 because I don't think neither one of them have 20. But if you throw Cisco solos in the mix, you might. But you could do Cisco, Drew Hill, and you could do KC and JoJo mixed with Jodeci. That'll be tough. That'll be tough. You said TLC don't got a t-shirt song either or Sexy Love. Okay. Okay. But yeah, that'll be interesting, man. That'll be interesting to see some of these battles. But yeah, man, listen, I got some stuff to do a little later. It's been fun chopping it up with y'all. Make sure that you share this video, hit the like button, and then we make sure that you subscribe. We had a pretty good turnout in here. We want to keep this up. Like I said, just hit that share button, do that for me, hit the subscribe button and share with a friend. Hit that like button as well. When you hit the like button, it gets more traction and things like that. So I'll see you on the next episode. I might do another live. I'm going to the Brandy. You know what? I'm actually going to the Brandy and Monica concert this Friday. This Halloween, doing the Brandy and Monica concert. Do or Die versus Bone Thugs all day. Bone Thugs already had a versus anyway. Do or Die wouldn't. They ain't even got enough songs to go at Bone, but that's it. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Subscribe to the channel, follow me at JAYR3D, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next broadcast. All right, y'all hold it up. Peace.